Welcome back to Capitol Review. I'm Mark Hall. Lawmakers pressed Attorney General Pam Bondi this week about the Justice Department's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files. Epstein was accused of sex trafficking for some of the world's richest and most powerful people before he died in 2019. Some of Epstein's survivors were in the audience for that hearing. Democrats accused Bondi of preparing for the hearing with a burn book, referencing a binder with insults for lawmakers. Bondi says the Department of Justice is reducing crime and delivering wins for the American people.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me, I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No.
AG Bondi told members of Congress that the Department of Justice has done the best it can to release the redacted files in the time allowed by Congress. Now, the law gave the department, the Justice, 30 days to release everything. So far, the DOJ has released more than 3 million pages of files. Joining us now is Dr. Omékongo Dibinga. He's a political science professor at American University, a best-selling author, and also the founder of Upstander International. Dr. Dibinga, welcome back to Capitol Review.
Thanks for having me.
We're always glad to have you. Is this about the survivors of sex abuse, or is this about protecting people with power and influence who may have been involved?
Oh, it's definitely about protecting people with power and influence. Georgia Senator John Ossoff, talked about the Epstein class in a speech recently. And I'm at the point now where I'm calling it the Epstein administration, because so many people within the administration have ties to this individual. And so we can talk about the larger names out there who are implicated, like a Bill Gates or a Noam Chomsky, but look right at the administration itself. And in some way, shape, or form, more of these individuals appear to be connected than fewer, and it seems to be growing by the day, and that should be a real problem.
How can Attorney General Pam Bondi pivot from her appearance at that House hearing, or is she too far in with the president?
She's too far in. It's like, those movies, somebody starts working with somebody on one job, then they do the next job, and by the time at the end, they've lost all opportunities to redeem themselves. I saw an ad from when she was in Florida running up proudly about how she was doing work to combat sex trafficking. And so many people are asking, what happened to that Pam Bondi? Her reputation is tarnished. Her reputation is destroyed. And quite honestly, Mark, these people are acting as if they're never going to leave office in the first place. So they have no problem acting as if their actions are going to have no consequences. And she's the latest example of that with that disgraceful hearing.
What's the big picture goal here? Republicans push back that the Biden administration didn't do much or anything about the Epstein files. What's the end zone for this debacle?
It's disgusting. The Trump administration, they use Biden and Obama as a trigger word for everything, whether we're talking about the economy, everything. Their whole mindset is whataboutism. As these Epstein survivors have said, they have been trying to get attention to their issue across 5 administrations, including the first Trump administration. So yes, all administrations failed them, but any leader's mindset is the buck stops with me. We're going to make the change now. We're in charge. This administration doesn't do that. They only want to claim the successes. They claim none of the failures. And so they can continue to use as many trigger words, Obama and Biden, and talk about their failures. They're in charge now, and that's why the buck needs to stop with them. And if they don't want to take claim for that, we have to make sure that we make them take that claim.
So many layers here, Dr. Dibinga. How can the survivors get justice? What does that look like? And can they get justice in this current political climate? Because this has clearly been politicized.
I believe that they can. I believe that they need to keep fighting. I heard one survivor on a show say, people are talking so much about what's not being released, but she said there's so much information about what has been released already that people can delve into. And just in the last, couple of days, I'm hearing names of people who are associated. What we have to do, Mark, is we have to bring back a culture of shame. Companies have to be penalized when we find out that they're involved. University professors, run down the list. And that's slowly starting to happen because they can't say names because they'll get threatened and they don't have the power to stick up. But more people are learning and speaking up, and we put pressure on those individuals. We put pressures on those companies. They're going to put pressure on this administration to make some changes and do the right thing. And even if we don't get it in this administration, I believe we can get it in the next administration. They've been fighting against this for 5 administrations, and unfortunately, they haven't been fully successful. But I do believe that we have made real progress in the last year. Not enough for them, but we're going to keep going, and we are going to win.
Dr. Omékongo Dibinga, thank you so very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.